G'day, welcome back to the channel. Before everybody starts emailing me, did you see this? Yes, I've seen this, and you can see I've seen this. This is the footage released by the Pentagon showing a Russian Su-27 apparently knocking a US military drone out of the sky. There's some interesting stuff. This is the BBC, and oh goodness me, we saw what the BBC said regarding that tiny little Mavic mini drone harassing the Hawker, was it Hawker Harrier World War II fighter? Oh no, Hawker Hurricane World War II fighter. If the drone had hit the Hurricane, 20,000 people would have died. So no, apparently they're saying here that a jet and a drone have collided, and it wasn't a 249 gram DJI Mini. It was a 2-ton Reaper. This is not a small drone. This is the drone the US military uses for long-range surveillance and even launching missiles and stuff. So it is a big military drone, weighs 2 tons, and it has collided with a jet, not just an old World War II fighter, but a jet fighter with all its vulnerable and sophisticated onboard system. So what was the outcome of this collision, between a drone and a jet? Well, we know. People must have died, right? In fact, I'll just zip down here further down the thing, because Mr. Austin, who is Lloyd Austin, the US Defense Secretary, says here, had previously described Russia's actions as dangerous and reckless. My goodness, because he reads the paper, he watches the news bulletins. He knows that a drone colliding with a manned aircraft is always, or even in the same piece of airspace as a manned aircraft, it's always going to be dangerous and reckless. So we need to take a look at this and see how many people died, because it's got to have been, if a little Mavic Mini can kill 20,000 people by hitting a World War II fighter, imagine how many people died as a result of this 2-ton military drone hitting this sophisticated, super-fast jet fighter. Oh, I don't know that. It boggles the mind as to what could have happened here. But maybe first of all, we should take a look at the footage. And I say this is on the BBC site. This is public domain footage, of course, because it was released by the US government. So I'm going to try and make it look reasonable. We're going to get an ad. No, we're not. That's good. Hang on. Right, so here we are. We're all lined up. And BBC, you cannot claim copyright on this because it's from the US government. So don't you try and strike me on this one. Here we go. Anyway, here is the jet fighter approaching. And you see, we're over the sea. We're over the Black Sea, right? This is reckless and dangerous, but who's there to get hurt? I mean, the pilot of the Su-27, yeah, he is putting his own life at risk, but, it's his life. He's got the option of doing that. You can't complain if someone's only endangering themselves. But let's have a look. Let's see what happens. Did they actually crash this Su-27 into the military drone? Let's find out. Here we go. It's coming close. And there we go. It's now releasing fuel. This is fuel being dumped out the back of the Su-27. I'm sorry that this isn't a very good quality. I didn't actually capture the footage or anything. This is just a screen capture, so you just have to bear with me. But there's plenty of copies of this video online to go and have a look at if you want to see it in more detail. But here we go. The Su-27 is making an approach. It's venting fuel out the back, and it's going to try and douse the military drone in fuel, which is, it misses the first time. Let's have a look and see what happens. Here we go. Zooming around. This is, oh, something's buffering. There is, oh, look, so it just missed. And here we can see the propeller of the drone. And you can see it's all in good condition. It's not turning as slowly as it looks. This is an artifact of the shutter speed of the camera. And what are these little bits here? I don't know. It's an artifact of the camera, and it makes things look like stroboscopic effect. Anyway, I don't know why they have circled these things, or maybe it's something else. I don't know. So let's have a look. Oh, I see. That's fuel on the lens of the camera. So there was droplets of fuel on the lens of the camera here, or on the bubble in which the camera is housed. That's all those circles indicate. So there you go. It flew past and didn't achieve very much at all. I noticed the video was disrupted momentarily, probably due to the effect of that fuel mist on the C2 link. The C2 link is control and command. So the control and I forget what it is anyway, but basically the video signal is beamed up to satellite, and it looks like the fuel got in the way. So they lost a few bits of data, nothing serious. Let's watch it have another go, because it does a second pass. And at this stage, you can see the prop's still in good nick, and it's actually spinning faster than it looks. So let's wait. I'm sure there's more. Come on. Here we go. So it's making another pass now. And again, It's venting fuel. There we go. There's the fuel venting out the back. And again, look, it's just sea. It's open sea. There's nobody in danger here except the pilot of this Su-27, and he chooses to put himself at risk. And let's have a look this time. Whoa, there we go. We've actually totally lost the video feed, probably for the same reason that this mist of fuel is opaque to radio frequencies. So it's like, when you get rain fade on a satellite TV broadcast, same sort of thing. We're losing the signal. So it all goes to blocks. Are they using HD0? No, they're not. Let's continue watching and see what happens. And that was, of course, a much closer pass. And here we can see that some of the blades of this propeller are bent, quite bent. Now, that could have been due to a contact, but I think we all know if you've ever dived off a very high diving board into a swimming pool and you've got it wrong and you land on your back or your belly, liquids can be very hard. They can appear to be solid when you've got high speeds involved. I'm tending to think that this may have just been a giant blob of fuel that the propeller hit, and that caused it to bend and maybe fracture in this case. I don't know that the Su-27 would have actually made physical contact with this drone, because if you look at the Reaper, it's got a V tail. It'd be very hard to fit in there and not take out the tail as well, with a wingtip or whatever. I really think this is probably just liquid damage caused by the speed of that prop spinning and the mass of fuel that it hit. And let's just continue it on. I don't think there's too much more. We can just see that it's going to keep spinning. There we go. That's it. That's the end. So you can see, there we go. Really, this actually raises questions. This raises a number of questions. Now, the first question I'd have to ask is, where was the spotter? Come on, US military, where was your spotter? We know you can't fly BVLOS without endangering people if you don't have a spotter. No spotter to be seen, but we know they run under a different set of rules. But again, one thing that I would be asking is, whose airspace did this take place in? Now, this was about 40 miles out into the Black Sea off the coast of Crimea. Russia asserts its sovereignty over Crimea. It annexed Crimea years ago now, and it says it's Russian territory. So is 40 miles off the coast of Crimea, is that international airspace, or is it Russian airspace? Is it NATO airspace? Everybody's got a claim. I've been doing some research. Everyone seems to be claiming it's their airspace and they have sole rights over this airspace. But it doesn't seem that there's no right or wrong here. I can't find who is definitively designated as the owner of the airspace. So if this was Russian airspace, then what the hell was the US military drone doing there anyway? And who was in the right, who was in the wrong? But ultimately, America's in the wrong no matter what. Because if we look at all the regulations all around the world, every single country has said that unmanned aircraft must always yield right of way or give way to manned aircraft. So the drone had no rights. It is the unmanned aircraft. The Su-27 is a manned aircraft. It will always have ultimate rights over an unmanned aircraft. So the drone should have got out of the way. And let's look at this in the terms of what this could mean to the hobby. If you're flying your Mavic or your model aircraft or anything over a grassy field in the middle of nowhere, and a manned aircraft comes along, and your drone collides with that manned aircraft, you are in the wrong. It doesn't matter. You are in the wrong because the rule states you must always yield right of way to the manned aircraft. Even if the manned aircraft comes out of nowhere and smacks into your drone and you're flying below 400 feet in an area that's authorized for drone operations, you've got a spotter and all that sort of stuff, does not matter one jot. The rule says, the bottom line is that you must always yield right of way to a manned aircraft. You must not endanger people, you must not endanger property. Now, the fact that that Reaper drone was there, and the fact that Mr. Austin says it was reckless and dangerous, clearly the Reaper drone was endangering property and person. It was endangering that Su-27 just by being there, and it was endangering the pilot of the Su-27 by not getting out of the way when he made these swoopy low passes dropping fuel on it. This is how stupid the rules and regulations are. Of course, they don't apply in war, do they? Because it's like everything. You and I can't go out and shoot someone, but the police can because they've got exemptions. And this is that exemption thing again. Rules, exemptions seem to be everywhere because rules are poorly made. And in this case, if it's in the war theatre, which it wasn't in the theatre of war, there is no war over the Black Sea, but the US asserts its rights to fly its military drones anywhere. And this happens, and then they get all upset. Now, I'm not siding with the USA or with Russia. I'm saying that this is a clear case of do as we say, not as we do. You fly FPV you fly beyond visual line of sight without a spotter in the USA. If you fly beyond visual line of sight in the USA with your drone, you're in trouble. If you fly FPV without a spotter, you're in trouble. if you don't get it out of the way of a manned aircraft, you're in trouble. But when the US military does it, they get all upset when this sort of thing happens. I don't know. I'm not siding with anybody. I just think that makes a mockery of the regulations yet again. And so the only thing I can say, it didn't happen below 500 feet, which is a good thing. But again, nobody got hurt. Nothing got damaged apart from the drone, which should have got out of the way. So it's another good day in the airspace above our heads. And I thank you for watching. So before you send me an email saying, have you seen this? Yeah, look, I've seen it. There it is. Thanks for watching, guys. I'm working on the ADS-B alarm, been working on it for a few days, getting very close to making an announcement with regards to beta testing, people who can start beta testing this thing in other countries and other locations. And I'm also working very hard on a video just to remind us all, in the face of this ridiculous overregulation, why we enjoy this hobby so much and why it's so important that we ensure that future generations can continue to enjoy it in the way that we've enjoyed it. There we go. That's it. That's me for another video. Thank you for watching. Thanks to the people that support me. You are the heroes of this hobby. Bye for now.
Overregulation is like a tumor. It's killing our hobby. It must be terminated. Now!